When a cow wants to give birth, it kicks. And when the owner realizes that the cow is kicking, if the owner of the cow is very wise, will know that the time has come for a cow
to give birth.
Welcome back to Havana Media. My name is Boniface Owino, and as usual, I'm going to be your host for today. Now, I'm very glad here to have Honorable. I don't know, I should call him Honorable or Mr. Thomas. Which one do you prefer?
Thomas.
Okay, Thomas is okay. Yeah. Now, I'm very glad to have you this afternoon. I know it's been a very busy day. Running up and down, doing things, but creating also time so that at least we can talk about what is happening in the country is very much important, and really appreciate for that. So before we go into a discussion, can you say one or two things to our viewers?
Thank you very much, Boniface, for this great opportunity. I call it a golden opportunity to talk to our fellow Kenyans, more especially regarding the political happenings in our country. A lot has been happening. We have seen now our former Babaman, Raila Odinga, is now deep into the government. I saw the other day claiming that the country was almost going to the military, and he's the one who saved the ship from sinking. We saw the other day a young Kenyan who was convicted in Vietnam, and her fate is yet to be known. We've seen the impeachment, so the upholding by the High Court of the impeachment of Kawira Mwangaza, and many more things.
So actually, those are the things that I would like us to talk about, and let us start with this issue of Raila Odinga joining the government, because that is what happened first, and then we'll also talk about the issue of Nduta, our own lady that is being held in Vietnam, and we'll finish by Kawira Mwangaza. Now, today, Raila Odinga, during the speech, I noticed something, that Raila Odinga was present and Kindiki. Of course, we know very well that during occasions like those, it is normally right for the deputy president to welcome the president. But why is it that today Raila Odinga is the one that welcomed William Ruto? Which kind of game are these people trying to play for Kindiki?
You see, the greatest tragedy of our time and history is that those who are supposed to play opposition roles are now in government, and the functions of opposition are now being done by other fellows. I want to mention that Raila Odinga recently mentioned that he saved the country from the political precipice, more especially during the Gen Z uprising. And he's mentioning this at a time when the country is reeling from high cost of living. We have punitive taxes. Recently you saw the issues of abductions, torturing, and also disappearances of people. But from where we sit, I want to say that whatever Raila Odinga has done will cost him politically, and he has found himself in a political corner, and getting out of that will be extremely hard for him. The reason as to why I'm saying this is that currently William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, has suffered from what I call the lame duck effect. The lame duck effect in the sense that he has lost trust, especially among the people. And this is because of the punitive taxes that he has brought about, and the people that are really feeling these are the constituents of those that have the pay slips. And the Kenyan population pronounced themselves loud and clear during the Gen Z uprising demonstrations. So Raila Odinga has been seen to be partying with the oppressor, and he is now seen to be part and parcel of the oppressor, of the oppressive regime. So him welcoming the head of state instead of Kithure Kindiki, who is the constitutional deputy president, who is supposed to do that role, is an indication that Raila Odinga, whom I initially thought is a paragon of moral and intellectual virtue, has clearly indicated that he is not up to the task. Because whatever he's doing, that is the role of Kindiki Kithure, the deputy president. So that indicates that Kenya is slowly turning out to be a country that doesn't respect the rule of law, number one. And we are seeing that we are slowly turning out to be an anarchic country because of the current happenings. But I want to say without any fear of contradiction that Kenyans are enlightened. They are heavily enlightened. They are well informed. And I believe that if this political formation of William Ruto and also Raila Odinga, if it goes beyond 2027, then most probably Kenyans are going to reject them because of the unpopular leadership skills by our head of state and also Raila Odinga, who has been now joined this regime. Yeah.
Do you think this relationship is going to be maintained up to 2027?
William Ruto has exposed his political underbelly in the sense that he is now done with the Mount Kenya region. And I want to mention that William Ruto without Mount Kenya, we will easily be defeated because he rode to the high echelons of power through the votes of the mountain. But now that the mountain is a bit skeptical, or William Ruto is trying to court Raila Odinga and also his Luo Nyanza political bastion and also part of Western, so that they'll support his bid. But what I believe is that if Raila Odinga is going to support William Ruto, then most probably he's going to fail. Because even when Raila Odinga is on the ballot, he doesn't get the full support of his Luo Nyanza supporters.
That's right.
For example, in 2017 elections, 78% of Luo, there was a voter turnout of 78%, especially in the Luo region. Coming to 2022, the voter turnout was 65%, implying that out of the registered voters, 700,000 voters never turned out to vote. So this implies that our voter turnout is a main issue of concern, especially among the Luo voters. So you can now imagine a scenario whereby Raila Odinga is supporting a third party and he himself is not on the ballot. So this implies that the turnout can be even 40 to 45% by putting into consideration or these dynamics that we are talking about, the oppressive regime, kidnappings, talk about punitive taxes. So William Ruto has lost a lot of confidence, especially among Kenyans who supported him. So I don't really think that even if this unity of Raila Odinga and William Ruto goes past 2027, I don't really think whether it will have any serious impact. And what I can say is that it will be Kenyans versus the regime, because Kenyans are extremely angered by this regime.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it has it has failed. And from where I sit, I think if William Ruto does one or two things, he might regain the confidence of Kenyans. And I cannot mention that for professional purposes. But what I believe that he has a Herculean task going ahead.
And what makes you think that Raila Odinga will not decide to vie for the presidency in 2027?
You know, Raila Odinga has been seen as a perennial loser because he has tried vying 5 times, losing. But
he said that he only lost in 2002. That is what he said.
And I think Raila has his friend, the current president of Zambia, President Hakainde Hichilema from Zambia. Hakainde Hichilema had vied for 6 times. In fact, 5 times, and he became president the 6th time. The reason as to why HH was elected president was because he was patient enough. He never sided with the oppressive regime of the then regime in Lusaka, Zambia.
Yeah.
So that gentleman, he was jailed severally. Even he was charged with treason. He was judged about trying to overthrow the government of then President Chagwa Edgar Lungu. But he remained true to the cause and sided with the population that when his time came, he became president. The same thing to the president of the Republic of Senegal, President Bassirou Faye, has been jailed severally, has been tortured by the oppressive regime, but now he is the president of Senegal.
Because of the patience.
Because of the patience. But now here comes a political figurehead who I hold a high regard for. And he goes to bed with a regime that is oppressing Kenyans. And now he expects to get the support of the people. What I want to say is that Raila Odinga has lost a significant number of votes. And if he continues working with William Ruto past 2027, then most probably they are going to get their Waterloo because Kenyans are extremely anchored by the manner in which they are mismanaging the economy. They talk about corruption day in, day out. You know, yesterday I was with a friend and this gentleman wants to fight for the presidency. And he has been in Sweden, Stockholm, Sweden, for the better part of his years. And I asked him if he is given the opportunity to serve in this regime, more especially in the treasury docket, because he's someone who has a background in economics. I was trying to get his view on how he can turn around the economy, and he said, no, I cannot work with this regime because this is a corrupt regime, and there is no way that you can work with a corrupt regime to come up with tangible results. So he said that he'll personally be going for the portfolio of presidency. And through that, he believes that he can change things.
That is one person that we need to interview.
Exactly.
Okay, now, the last question under that. What do you think can happen if at all, because we know that Raila Odinga has been the father figure in politics. Everybody knows that, and people respect that. So my question is this, what do you think can happen that, okay, let's assume, and God forbid, Raila dies or quits politics completely.
Yeah.
What do you think can happen?
I want to mention that we have what we call the social contract theory. And some of the opponents, some of the proponents of this theory, the people like Thomas Hobbes, people like Jean-Jacques Rousseau, they mentioned that people occupy positions of power not because of their wish and not because of the wish of God, but because of the wish and will of people who elect and put them. And these people have the duty to remove them from these positions of power if they feel that they are not well represented and they are not well governed. So I believe that the Kenyan people have the mandate to decide who occupies which position at what time and at what particular area. So I believe that with or without Raila Amolo Odinga, the Kenyan population is not only sick but also tired by the current regime because of the obvious reasons that I have mentioned, Bonves, including but not limited to punitive taxation measures, kidnappings, and also torture of innocent Kenyans. So the election of 2027 will be the election of the regime versus the people. And the people will always have their way and their say. Yeah,
that's great. Now the second thing, we know this lady, our sister by the name Nduta, Margaret Nduta.
Yes,
she's being held in Vietnam. She was supposed to be hanged. But it's not yet done. And people have been saying that William Ruto refused to call the Vietnam government, though William Ruto was saying that there is no way he can call because Kenya does not have an embassy in Vietnam. And Williams and former President Uhuru Kenyatta, I don't know whether he called or maybe it's rumors, but perhaps maybe he called because of the good relationship that he's been having with this government. What can you say about this issue of drug trafficking? Because according to me, I think that in as much as we're trying to defend the people that are doing this thing, we should also consider the people that normally consume this, because a lot of people are dying because of the drugs.
What I can say about that is that in as far as I'm concerned, Nairobi has no diplomatic footprints with Vietnam. And recently, the Foreign Affairs Permanent Secretary, that is Dr. Korir Sing'oei, said that Kenya had sent a delegation to Thailand, where the country has some sort of diplomatic footprints. What I want to mention is that the case of this lady is just a case of quite a good number of many cases in this country. This regime has refused to provide an enabling environment for the young population to work and earn a living. So they resort to using shortcuts to generating wealth and to generating income. So what I want to say is that may God stand in for this young lady who is, I'm told she was supposed to be hanged 2
days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago. I don't know whether
it's still being held.
It's being held.
There are some negotiations in there.
Yeah. So I really feel for this lady because the environment back at home is really wanting. There are no job opportunities. This is someone who has young ones, who has parents, aging parents who are looking up for her. And now the government has created a very hostile environment. You know, what I believe is that for the government to create opportunities, it has really to come up to create an enabling environment, and more especially to the private sector. Because if there is an enabling environment, especially amongst the private sector, then most probably the private sector will create job opportunities for the population. But now here is a regime which imposes heavy taxation on these private enterprises, some of which have actually moved to countries like Rwanda, Uganda, because of the enabling environment. So I really feel that the government needs to come up with strategies of creating an enabling environment for especially to the private sector, so that it creates employment opportunities for our young ones, so that they don't engage in activities like the ones this lady was caught doing in Vietnam. About that case, I believe that the delegation that was sent to Thailand we will negotiate with the government, so that at least this lady can be repatriated back to the country and tried according to the rules and regulations of our country. Yeah.
And what do you think should be done to people like of that caliber? Because just like I've asked you, a lot of people are dying because of the drug, and they are not getting these drugs by themselves. There are people who are in fact, we even have a lot of government people in governments that are doing this.
Exactly. I think really, I have a feeling that the government needs to crack down on these drug cartels, because these are people who are known.
Yeah.
And some are even in government. I'm told they're in government.
Yeah, they're in government.
So I believe that there needs to be stringent measures and strict rules and regulations that should cap these drugs. And these rules must be followed to the latter without a blink of an eye. Because if the government overlooks this issue, then most probably we're going to have a lot of challenges, more especially in the coastal region, where drug trafficking is extremely rampant. So I believe that we need to have strict rules and regulations to curb this.
So according to you, the government is supposed to come and intervene.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like the way they've said that they've sent some from Thailand.
Yeah.
Okay, it's good. It's really good that they are going to help.
Yeah.
Now, my problem is now with the cartels that we have in this country.
Yeah.
How can the government identify these cartels?
You see, these are the government has intelligence, a lot of intelligence reports about the undertakings of these cartels, and we have what we call the conflict of interests. Sometimes you find that some of these cartels are closely work with senior government officials.
That's right. Yeah,
so they collide. There's that conflict of interest. I believe that if the government really wants the good for this country, they need to strictly work on these drug lords, drug cartels, that they dismantle the cartel.
Do you think this cartel can be dealt with completely? Like
I believe it's about systems and laws and regulations.
Yes.
If these laws and regulations are followed to the latter, I believe nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. I believe that it can be dealt with for once and for all. Yeah, only that we need to have serious rules and regulations that must be implemented to the latter. Yeah, Boniface.
Now, these just under that, because there are a lot of things to talk about in that, though we'll cut them short. It is not the first time that this lady is traveling outside.
Exactly.
This is the third. In fact, this is the third time. And what is funny is that this lady did not use the JKIA. He went to Ethiopia.
Yeah.
He used the bus to Ethiopia through the direction of the agents.
Yeah.
Before fighting the cartels, is it easier for the government to identify these agents, the fake agents that uses young ladies to export? Because what I think I know is that the agents communicate, like he or she's coming, the drug is in this place, is in this bag, and all that.
Yeah. Oh, I believe if God forbid, if this lady is released and repatriated to Kenya, I believe that she'll face the full force of the law. She'll be judged according to our own laws, the country. Then I believe that she'll most probably give information on how she got these drugs, who sent her. Then I think from there the government will make a follow-up to the latter. Then from there they'll have to crack down on the serious drug lords. You know, we have there's a few years ago, I had a friend of mine from Cambus, and this gentleman was leading a flashy life. He was driving high-end vehicles, V8, talk of V8, talk of Range Rovers, Lexus. And the gentleman was not working. Then after a while, there was that gold syndicate, the Kilimani gold criminals. So some of whom were captured, were arrested by the government and even charged. I was very much shocked to hear the name of this friend of mine.
among them. So sometimes when you admire some of the things that these people have, you have to ask yourself, where are they getting them from?
Exactly, and that's very serious. That's very serious. So that boy was arrested, judged, and I think he was well off. He got himself out of the hook. So these things are happening, Boniface. They are really happening outside here. And I really want to encourage our young population to take shortcuts because, sometimes they normally say that shortcuts are wrong cuts. I believe that through hard work and dedication, they can succeed in this life, despite the ups and downs. So these shortcuts are not good. I now see what this lady is going through. Not what she's going through. For her, she might have given up on life. But now, look at home, look at the village. Look at that lady, that old woman. She was seriously crying that kindly want to kill my daughter, don't kill her.
Let her be killed in Kenya. At least we can bury the body.
So you can imagine the kind of psychological torture that that family is going through. So I think it's my clarion call, the young population, to continue working hard and pressing on.
But don't you think that sometimes even our families puts us to go under pressure that we just have to do so? Yesterday, the other day, there was a time that I was talking to a certain lady, a very young lady, and this lady was telling me that just having a child, and she was telling me that you guys that are working, you are in these offices, you are in this media,
you have money,
you do this, you can talk, you can judge, but sometimes you don't understand. So I wanted to know more about, okay, what don't we understand? And she was like, me, according to me, if my family is going through a lot, and I'm seeing an opportunity of doing something to rescue my family, I would rather do that. So that one is like the family is putting these people under pressure. That they have to do it to rescue the family.
I think that is one of the greatest challenges that we have as the African continent. Because yesterday, as I was talking with that friend of mine from Sweden, I tried to ask him about some of the challenges being faced by that particular country. Yeah. And he told me that corruption is not a challenge. The only challenge they are facing is an aging population. A lot of people are aging. And when a lot of people are aging, it implies that the workforce reduces. So what we are facing as a country, or as Kenya, as Kenya, is that we have what we call black taxation. Black taxation in the sense that, like for you, Boniface, your family members know that you are here in Nairobi. They know that you are working. So they expect a lot from you. They expect you to educate.
So much expectations.
A lot of expectations.
Okay, so this narrow that we taught you, so you have to teach.
Exactly. So what they expect is that at the end of the day, they had spent a lot of resources to educate you. So they want you to reciprocate. So, and if you fail to do that, then there's always a card on the table. The cursing card.
The cursing card. Oh, Mara, unaona uko mbele sahi, you don't care about your family.
You don't care about your family.
Some even goes ahead and disown you.
Exactly. So I really believe that what I want to advise our young population is that you really don't need to be pressured a lot. Just live within your means. The little that you are earning, just continue working hard, and also we have what we call investing in other ventures, so that you don't necessarily depend on a single source of income. And if you work hard, then most probably God will, the God in heaven will bless you, and going forward, you'll start earning more and support.
Thomas, there is something that I'm understanding. You and I, we are in a generation where let me say that the generation where we are is different from the current one, because the Gen Zs are too many.
Very many.
In fact, they are very many. So that is now those are the people that and then they are very. Let me say that they are very sharp.
Sure.
So being that they're very sharp, they don't want to work.
Exactly.
Like, the brain is sharp. Some of, not all of them. Some of them have got very sharp brains, so they feel like my sharp brain can help me get something very sharp.
Yeah, exactly.
So they can't. They don't know how to. They don't know how to humble. They don't know how to wait.
Exactly.
I think that is the main thing that is really affecting
that is
the chap thing.
That's the greatest challenge that we are facing as a generation. Because the other day I was talking with a great friend of mine, who is also my church. We go to church together. He's a professor, a great gentleman, Professor Mugambi, a very humble gentleman. And he told me that one of the greatest challenges that the young population is facing is pressure, wanting to own big things within the shortest time possible. Because even for him, he told me that his first car was a very small car. So the car that he has now is not the car that he began with. So he told me that good things require good time. So these shortcuts are not really working. They are not really working.
Somebody is young but wants to drive a Lexus.
Yeah, I normally see those things in social media. You find someone is 20, 25 years and is driving heavy machines and you ask yourself, a V8.
You wonder.
And they're splashing money all over. You know, money doesn't talk.
Yeah,
money doesn't talk.
Right.
So those people with money, even you cannot know.
In fact, you can't even know.
You can't even
Some
know.
of them, you can't even pass them. You can't even know.
Yeah, you can't even know. So I think our young population must come to the reality that good things take time and hard work always pays. Hard work, prayers, and also dedication.
When you ask that, they'll ask you that how does that one help us with this government? Anyway,
you know, when William Ruto hears about the Gen Z,
the Gen Z, when he hears about the Gen Z, he goes crazy.
He gets mentally disturbed.
Yeah, he sees everything now collapsing. Now,
you know, the events of June 25 really sent a very strong signal to the head of state, and had it not been a swift intervention, especially by the law enforcement officers, Parliament could have been touched.
Yeah, that's right.
And they were claiming that from Parliament they wanted to march to State House. So you can imagine our country could have been under the military regime.
And you know, the good thing with them, is that they've brought Kenya into and they've turned things upside down.
Exactly.
Like there is no tribalism.
Sure.
They are united.
You are very united.
And up to now, when you look at social media, if one person says something, and everybody is supporting. So
exactly.
the unity, the good thing with them is that they're united. But now the problem is that there are few of them who takes advantage of other people's unity.
You know, that thing was very serious. The point that you saw some people who were shot in Parliament. So you shoot someone, and these people have that spirit of forging ahead. They don't fear.
They don't fear.
Because, you know, from where I'm sitting, I cannot see someone has been shot, then I continue.
You can't face the bullet.
I cannot face
Your brother is down. And
not even the bullet, that sound.
The sound
itself.
Because by the way, in Kwagana sound,
Kali sana. So those boys and girls were really determined to bring about change in this country. Because even with a bullet, they still forged ahead.
Yeah, they say that you can kill all of us, but you cannot kill the revolution.
But you cannot kill the revolution. And that's when they went to Parliament, my friend. I saw someone, a young gentleman from the speaker's gallery saying that you are mediocres, you are hypocrites.
You are hypocrites.
Yeah? And now that's where this theory of social contract theory came into play, practical play, that all the elected leaders do so, not because of God, not because of their will, but because of the will of the people. And if they fail the people, then most probably they are going to be overthrown by the same people. So as a democratic country, that one came into play. And I believe that that was a serious clarion call to the elected leaders to have a listening ear, especially to the people. And now I believe anything concerning the common man, anything concerning the citizen, these people learned a serious lesson.
They learned
a serious lesson. They'll have to handle it with the utmost care.
Atmosphere. They have to realize that what they're doing, everybody's watching.
Is watching. Is watching.
The last one. Let us talk about this issue. I don't know what you have about this issue of Kawira Mwangaza's impeachment and the swearing, because it happened so fast. Someone is being impeached on Friday, and then on Monday, someone is being sworn in.
I want to say that Kawira Mwangaza is a strong woman of substance who has gone through a lot of ups and downs. You can remember that she defeated heavy political heavyweights. Talk of Peter Munya, talk of Kiraitu Murungi. Heavy political heavyweights. And now these heavy political heavyweights are united against this lady. You can bear me witness that she has been impeached twice. I'm not so wrong. And because these people who united against her believed that there is no way that a woman can have a space can rule and govern at the same time.
Yeah, the woman thing.
Exactly that thing. And there used to be a ward fund, though it's unconstitutional. The previous regimes, that is of Peter Munya and also Kiraitu Murungi, they used to entice the members of county assemblies with that fund, so that at least they can go to their various wards and they do development for their people. But now when this lady came, she said that this fund is unconstitutional. We don't have it. It doesn't have any place within our constitutional precincts. And she said that as far as I'm concerned, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I know about the constitution, and I'm not going to give you any fund because it's unconstitutional. So I think that's where her problems began. So the members of county assembly, together with the political heavyweights who had been defeated, including their Senator Kathure, they united against her, and that's how she met her Waterloo. So I believe she's going to fight through the courts, and if the courts vindicate her, and if the courts indicate that she was not fairly removed from office, then most probably she can again come back in 2027. If the people wish so.
So it happened because this woman was against what these guys were expecting.
Exactly.
Like we were going this direction, and then someone comes and feels like this direction, it's okay to go that direction, but it's not constitutional.
It's not constitutional.
And going this way is going to make our county go bankrupt.
Exactly. And so that's where even those MCAs, they were questioning, and saying that we had Peter Munya, and we used to access these funds. We had Kiraitu Murungi, professor, and we used to have these funds. How come that you have now assumed the office and you are denying us funds? Boniface, I have very many friends who are members of county assembly, and the majority are crying. And they are saying that a lot of things are happening in their wards. Like many people are losing lives in their wards, and they get phone calls to step in. And majority are saying that even their salaries are not enough to cater for the rising needs. So I really believe that there must be a legal framework to ensure that at least these people get some funds. Some 2-3 things within their wards, at least, so that they can at least be seen as to be working. Because without, like for example, the members of parliament, what makes them relevant is the national government constituency development fund, which keeps them going. So I believe that these MCAs must also be given something small, at least, to be running programs within their wards.
But what is the function? Let me just ask. In 1 minute, you can answer this. What is the function of? Why do we have all these very many officials in the county? We have got the MCA whose work is to oversee the governor.
Exactly.
And then we have got the senator whose work is also to oversee the governor. So why do we have all these? Why can't we just do away either with the MCA or the senator?
Or the Senate.
Yeah.
I also believe that the Senate, it has limited functions. And I believe going forward, we need to come up with a referendum to polish the portfolio of Senate. Because if it's the question of legislation, making rules and regulations, that one is done by the National Assembly. If it's oversight, that one is also done by the National Assembly through the help of independent institutions and commissions, such as the Office of the Auditor General, the Controller of Budget. So I also believe that the Senate should be scrubbed from our constitution.
Your last words as we wind up?
My last words is to encourage our young population, our young girls and boys, to continue working hard and also to avoid these shortcuts. Because as we say, shortcuts are always wrong cuts. Through hard work and also dedication and determination, the heavenly God can see them through.
Thank you so much for the insight. And what I can say is that when a cow wants to give birth, it kicks. And when the owner realizes that the cow is kicking, if the owner of the cow is very wise, will know that the time has come for a cow
to give birth.
Until we meet again, I've been your host, Boniface. So, bye-bye.